Welcome to JMR Talks. Today, as part of inspiring stories, we'll look at some people who are feeding the hungry, thereby doing a great service to the humanity. When we talk about feeding the hungry, look at what the different religions say. We all know that hunger has no religion, no class, no difference in terms of caste, creed, religion as such. In Hindu philosophy, we say paropakaratam idam shariram, helping the needy. Similarly, look at the concept of langar in the Sikh community. There, providing food to the needy, they treat it as service to as what we call guru's guest. Now, feeding the hungry and feeding the needy is an essential part of Islamic faith. In fact, one of the pillars of Islamic faith is zakah, where the able who are financially what we call sound have to contribute something annually. Similarly, you take any other religion, feeding hungry is treated as one of the great deed. In fact, some even say that hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray. Now, the problem of hunger is so serious. On the one hand, we have enough to feed the hungry throughout the world. But the irony is that today we have about 870 million suffering from undernourishment as such. Now, in this background, we look at couple of good Samaritans who are feeding the needy, hungry, etc. Now, first let us look at what we call Murugan. This Murugan, he failed what we call an exam. So he ran away from his hometown to Coimbatore and wanted to commit suicide. One old man, what I call saved him, prevented him from committing the suicide. And the beggars around, they collected money, they pulled up, their small savings and all that, and they wanted to send him, back to the hometown as such. Now, looking at the act of, the old man and the beggars, their eagerness to what I call, help Murugan, he decided on the same day that let me do something what I call useful. So he started working in a small hotel, cleaning the tables, vessels, etc., and then in the early morning distributing the newspaper, etc. Any odd job that came what I call in handy, he started doing this so that he could save some money and all that. But when the company has what I call closed, so he had no other go except to apply for a what I call driver's license. So he became a what I call auto driver from Monday to what I call Friday. He works on the what I call his auto. Okay, and with the savings in the weekends, he provides food to the what I call needy. So inspired by his good work, more people joined. So accordingly, he started what I call Nijal Mayam, the shelter to the what I call needy. Then look at the second man, Ashwant Kumar. Ashwant Kumar has his Bai Friend Eatery. How this Ashwant Kumar got inspired to provide meals at an affordable rate? He had his grandmother. Once she was traveling by auto. So after reaching the place, the fare was 20 rupees, but she gave 50 rupees to the auto driver. When he wanted to return the balance 30, his grandmother said, no, keep it. And Ashwant Kumar was very much impressed with his grandmother's generosity, and on that day itself he decided, let me also do something. So that's how he started providing affordable meals, and sometimes he supplies what are free also if anybody is can't afford to pay even that affordable rate as such. And what does he provide? He provides sambar rice, curd rice, even vegetable biryani. And look at the rates, so affordable. The breakfast and lunch rates vary between 10 to 20 rupees, and full meal costs only 20 rupees as such. This doesn't mean that who can't afford to pay that they can't have the meal. No, he provides them meal too. In fact, he has set up a Pankajam Charity Trust in a memory of his grandmother, so as to continue the good work. Next comes Muhammad Shujatullah from Hyderabad. This gentleman, he provides breakfast to the needy at 3 government hospitals, namely Nizam Institute of Medical Sciences, we call it as NIMS, Government Maternity Hospital, Koti, and Nilofar Hospital. Every day, almost he is feeding nearly 1,000 people. One must be curious as to how this Shujatullah, began doing this, charity work as such. So he failed in one of the exams. So after appearing to the exam, he prayed to the Almighty that if he passes the exam, he will feed 10 hungry people. In the Almighty's blessings, he passed. So accordingly, he came out with 10 food packets to distribute. Then he went to old man and offered him 1 packet. The old man said, "Thank you, my stomach is full, give it to someone else." Okay, he distributed that day. The second day also when Shujatullah came with a food packet, the old man said the same thing, give it to someone else. That's how Shujatullah got inspired. When a beggar, when someone who can't afford to have food on his own is thinking of others, why not me also do something? So, he began arranging this breakfast at the 3 government hospitals, and his family members also got impressed with his work, and they started also pulling up, and more people started donating, and in 2016 he has set up Humanity First Foundation for providing meals, breakfast to the needy at these 3 government hospitals. But any discussion about feeding the hungry will be incomplete, I personally feel, without taking the name of Harak Chand Salva. Who is this Harak Chand Salva? Harak Chand Salva is known as godfather of cancer patients. We all know that Tata Memorial Hospital, is one of the famous hospital where all the cancer patients from the nook and corner of the country, they go for treatment to Mumbai. So he observed that sometimes the family attendants, they're not in a position to support themselves in terms having good food and all that. So that's how he started providing food to the family members who come for treatment at TMC. In the process, he has set up a foundation called Jeevan Jyoti Foundation. So through the Jeevan Jyoti Foundation, he is arranging healthy meals to the patients at TMC. Now when we look at this good work of these people, whether it is the concept of Paropakaratam Idam Shariram, or the concept of Zakat in Islamic faith, or the Langar concept for the sake, almost all the religions say that take care of the needy. By God's grace, by Almighty's grace, if you are in a position to help someone, let's do it. And let's not forget that hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray. And feeding the hungry is one of the greatest deed we human beings could do it. So thank you all.